Our project for today is Pose for Action, Drawing from Observation. You're going to listen to this Google slide and learn about our art project, and then you will complete the art project on your own. Movement and action in artwork. What are some different ways that people can move? They can dance, bend over, jump, run, skip, and so forth. Artists pay close attention to the lines that show action. Can you figure out why? Recognizing these lines help artists capture the body's movement and action. Artists also look closely at the relationship of one part of the body to another, which we call figure proportion. Some people may be short or tall, slender or fat, but all people generally share the same proportion. How can this knowledge of figure proportion help artists? Once artists learn the proportions, they can sketch different people with the correct perspective and the same ratios. Perspective and ratios means like their head and their body are in proportion to each other in the right percentage. Some artists like to draw people from real life. Today, we'll draw figures using family members or friends as models. We'll focus on the organic shapes and contours of the figures. Organic shapes are shapes without names, like the shape of a flower or the shape of a puddle. A geometric shape is something like a square or a circle or a triangle. And when you're looking at people's bodies, you'll see these organic shapes. We studied contour in our previous lessons, and that's like the outside shape. So keep those things in mind. So artists look for lines that show action. They pay attention to figure proportions, which we just talked about, or the relationship between one part of the body to another. As you see above, although people may vary in size, they are usually alike in their proportions. And you can see that the person here is like cut up into 7 parts, and they're equal parts. Like, and it's the measurement is the size of the head. So you count 7 heads down. And then the face is broken up in proportion also. Let's look at this picture. This picture is by Mary Cassatt, and she has a woman being fitted for a dress by a seamstress. But what's cool is that you can see the reflection of the woman in the mirror. Artists observe the way people sit, stand, and move. Mary Cassatt made many artworks showing women in daily life. Let's look at our next picture. Look at the position of the body in this picture by Edgar Degas, the Russian dancer. So you're moving a lot if you're dancing. She is dancing, kicking her leg up, and bending her head down. If you look at the line going from her toe to her knee, that's a really interesting line there. And then the position of the rest of her body is her right arm's bent, her left arm's behind her head, bent at the elbow, the chin's pointed down, the torso's angled to the right. So her body is moving in many different directions, which makes her pose very interesting and shows the movement. Let's look at this picture. This is what we're going to be doing for our assignment. And I want you to think, how can knowing the proportions of the human body as these sketches show help you draw people? And the answer is the people will look more realistic because the proportions are typical. So everything is kind of based on the size of the head all the way down. All right, let's talk about our project. Keep that picture in mind as we go on. For your materials, you'll need pencils, erasers, sketchbooks, and a family member or friend. And also optional markers or crayons or colored pencils. You will draw your family member or friend in 4 different action poses on your paper. If you want, you could do 4 different family members or friends also. The drawings may overlap each other or touch, just like in the previous picture. Please remember to try to practice figure proportion. That's the whole purpose of this drawing assignment. Try to think about the organic shapes that form the torso or the head or the patterns on the clothing. And the contour will help you build the whole picture. And here's a pro tip for you. Look for straight lines, curved lines, circles, and semicircles in your model's body. Try and build it using shapes like we did in 4th grade, and don't get caught up in the small details. You can add color and patterns to your figure. When you're done, take a picture of your artwork and upload it to the Schoology media album. And just to go over our assignment again, work with a family member or friend. You're just going to do the drawing while they model and have them strike different action poses. Use a pencil and then maybe if you have one, a black marker on the white paper. Fill your paper with the contour line drawings. That's the outside line of their body. Concentrate on the organic shapes and contours of the posed figure. Allow figures to overlap on your paper. Later, you can add patterns and colors with crayons, markers, and pencils. And you can look here in this picture. People are facing different directions. There's not a whole lot of detail in the artwork. It's kind of what we did in the last project without the shading. Contour drawings don't really have shading, but they do have details that show textures using lines and patterns. I can't wait to see your artwork. Remember, turn your mistakes into art and have fun. This is a learning process to learn how to draw people.